Hey guys, it's me, believe it or not. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Gina of Gina Renae RM Budgets. I'm a zero-based budgeter. And I feel like that's what my budget has been lately, zero. Anyway, guys, I know I had taken a little break, but reason being is my daughter is pregnant. She's having a baby boy, all right, my first biological grandchild. And she wasn't ready to share it yet. And there's no way I could have just got on here and not talked about it. So I had to just not film. Like, 'cause I know, ain't no way I wasn't going to say anything. So I'm just get you guys a little caught up while I'm on my way to go pick up my grandson. That's my grandson by marriage. It's my daughter's bonus son. And so he's coming to spend a little time with me this morning, which he does quite often. He likes his granny's house. So yeah, so get you guys caught up. Disability, okay, for those of you who've been following me for a long time. No disability yet, all right? We did hire an attorney back in July, I think it was. And then by the time they got, paperwork done and things of that nature, it was like August. I don't know what the holdup is. Like, you guys, if you know my story, you know how sick my husband has been. He's stabilized now, where he, what they call in the surveillance stage, where they monitor him for, oh God, the sun. Where they monitor him for cancer because it has such a high potential to return. However, because they had to remove his entire bladder to get rid of the cancer, he has it's a urostomy bag. So he wears a bag that catches his urine. And so he has to, empty it out, stuff like that. It's very, very likely to be infected pretty much all the time. So he's always dealing with an infection or recovering from an infection, so it really took a toll on his kidneys, all the infections. So he's just got, quite a few issues, even though if you looked at him, you really would be like, what's wrong with him? You know what I'm saying? Which, bless God for that, he doesn't look like what he's been through. He also doesn't look like he's going through a whole lot, but really he is. So it's kind of like a blessing and a curse when it comes to like trying to get disability and stuff like that. So we're just remain hopeful and prayerful. In December, it'll be 2 years since he applied. Yep, 2 years. So we just wait and see. At this point, we know that it's probably unlikely by now that he'll get denied, but you never know. And in the event that he does, he still won't be returning to work, because this is not a game for us. This is not a gimmick about saying, we're not just saying he can't go back to work. He can't go back to work. He's not going back to work, whether he has disability or not. I have a job. It's been sustaining us. God has been sustaining us, because we both know that he's our source and will always be our source. And he has, made the provisions and provided for us all this time, and he didn't bring us this far to leave us. So, yes, disability would be great for him to have some income, because that's very hard on him. But without disability, we still gonna be okay. Let's get to the budget. So you guys may or may not know, when my mom passed away last year in March, because of everything that was going on with my husband, our finances, all that kind of stuff, we talked to my dad and discussed us moving back to Illinois, but into the house with him. And so, of course, he wanted us to do that, and now that we're here, thank God that we chose to go that route, because it's just been a better situation for us all around being together. For just several reasons, I'll probably do a different video about multi-generational living, things of that nature. So, even though I live home with my dad, it doesn't mean that I don't pay bills. Okay, let's just clear that right on up. All right. The arrangement that we have is, because the house that we live in is going to be left to me, it's my dad's desire to have the house paid off for him to give it to me, for him to leave it to me. So based on what's remaining on the mortgage, we have a plan in place to have it paid off earlier, which is around now about the tune of maybe 7 years. So I'm 53 years old, and so he would like for me to have the house paid off by the time I'm like 60. So that way, when it's time for me to retire, you know, the house is paid for. So in order to make that happen, my dad continues to pay the mortgage like he always has been, but then I make a principal payment every month. So it's like I'm paying rent, but it's not rent, it's the mortgage, because I'm paying straight principal every single month, straight principal. He pays the mortgage, the interest, all that, the taxes. I pay a lump sum, straight principal, and that's how we're gonna get it done faster, right? In addition to that, when our finances took such a beating, my credit also took a beating. When Kevin was so sick, we had so many medical bills. He wasn't working. It was just, I'm not gonna say it was a mess, because we had so much support and God just provided all the way around. But a lot of things took place that affected our finances and our credit and stuff like that, and we're still trying to recover from that. But in the midst of, literally, it was like, while my mom, we brought her home on hospice, and then while I was taking care of her, my dad went out and purchased a car for me. That being said, it wasn't like it was a free and clear car. Okay, that was never the arrangement. He knew that I could handle a car payment, but he also knew that my credit, I could have gotten a vehicle, number one, but I didn't have the down payment that would have been required. Number two, they would have gave me a interest rate that was absolutely ridiculous. So because of that, he went out and he got the car financed completely in his name for me. And so I pay the car note, and I also, by now, I've paid him back the down payment that he put down, because he put down enough to make sure that my car payment was manageable and to make sure that he would get a very, very low interest rate. So I pay my car note. I also pay the insurance, because the insurance is for me anyway, and I'm on his policy. So I also pay the insurance. So when I start talking about my budget and stuff like that, I call it a bill called MCI, but that's mortgage, car note, and insurance, because I give all of that whole lump sum, I give that to my dad, and he takes care of all of that. My dad also pays all the utilities. So everything, the payment that I put on the principal is inclusive of all the, you know, utilities, the lights, the gas, the water, trash, the internet, all of that is all included. I don't pay any of that. I pay credit card bills, which is tearing me up, because, you know, sometimes I had to really rely on credit cards to get things done when the money just wasn't adding up, right? I had, you know, so credit card debt, I'm tackling that. Unfortunately, because I'm just one income taking care of everything, I haven't really been in a position to pay over my minimum payments. So it's like I'm just spinning my wheels with these credit cards. I pay a cell phone bill, and you know, it's several of us on the plan. Of course, it's me and my husband. My dad is on my plan, and then my son is on there, but he pays his own portion of the cell phone. And I have a tablet that is about to be paid off, and my Apple Watch is free. It's a first responder, so they do charge me for it, but then they give me a credit. So all that is on my cell phone bill, so I pay that. And then subscriptions, and then I pay for the groceries in the house. My dad will pay for the things that only he likes or whatever. He'll go and get his little stuff, you know. But I purchase the groceries for everybody. You know, my son contributes to that because he lives with us also. And I pay for the non-food items, like, you know, paper towel, toilet paper, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I do have, like, you know, a lot of stuff going on, right? And in addition to that, we purchased new appliances for the house when we moved there. My mom and dad were not bad off financially, but my dad definitely was on a fixed income. So, you know, stuff like their appliances, they've been in their home for like 17 years. So pretty much almost everything was original. And because the house is going to be left to us, any upgrades that will be done would just make the house, you know, increase in value. So we updated the appliances when we got there to all stainless steel. So, you know, I'm paying that off. You know, so I have a lot of stuff. Now, what we're not counting in that figure is, you know, spending money and gas for the car, stuff that we need. Me and my husband, we still need, okay? In addition to that, I have children that, you know, I call them grown-agers. If you've ever heard me say that, I call them grown-agers because they're grown in number, but they still, you know, need me for a lot of things. Especially lately, my daughter, who's pregnant, you know, everything kind of caught her off guard. And so she's trying to, like, bounce back from the whole, like, situation. So I help her quite a bit. Plus, she's in school. And you know, when she decided to go back to school for her master's, I committed to helping her with a portion of money because of that, just to kind of help her survive and stuff like that. So because of that, I help her quite often. It's just, you know, and then outside of that, stuff happens. We all know that. Life be lifing and all that kind of stuff. So that being said, I've made several changes to my budget. All right, several changes. Like, I love the cash envelope system. I do. It works. Zero-based budgeting definitely works. However, for my situation, and that's the thing I want to get, if I don't get any other point across, you have to do what works for you. You can take the concept, but make it work for you. Because if you're trying to do the things everybody else is doing, but you don't have the finances, or your finances aren't equal to what everybody else is doing, then you're struggling. It makes budgeting frustrating when you're trying to tailor your budget to somebody else's finances. Okay, that's what you do when you start trying to copy what everybody else is doing. So I love the cash envelope system, and when I get to a point, God, the sun is brutal this morning. When I get to a point that it makes sense for me, I will definitely go back to cash stuffing, but this is what I've decided for now. I've decided to go cashless because of my current situation. It really started to be of a burden on me to have to get paid, go to the bank, find time to go to the bank, to get the money out, then find time to film. So I'm holding on to this money, trying to find time to film my cash stuffing. But I need that money. I gotta spend it like that day. Literally, okay? I've been waiting to get paid. And so therefore I gotta go to the grocery store, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And all the money I just took out the bank, I'm sitting there holding on to it just so I can film it and take it right back out the envelopes and go to the store. To me, that was just didn't make sense, especially for me who I'm on a time crunch 95% of the time anyway. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So I decided I have a second checking account. So I have a bill account. That's where I put all my bills and stuff like that on auto pay. When I pay my dad, I Zelle him. And so I use my bill account for all my automated stuff. But I have a second checking account, right? And that is what I've deemed my spending account. All right, so that's my spending account, meaning when I get paid, I budget, I do a zero-based budget. Lord, the sun, now watch, as soon as I turn that way, it's gonna be in my face again. But I do a zero-based budget, and then the money that I would have taken out in cash, I transfer it to my spending account, right? I transfer it to my spending account. And then I use trackers to keep track of what I'm spending from where. And I'll show you guys all of that. And the reason I like it, and you'll see why I created what I created, is because, you know, I do like the aesthetics of cash envelopes. You know, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know that I have, you know, I like changing my envelopes. I like them to match the seasons or the holidays, or, you know, just beautiful envelopes. And so I was like, you know, how would I still, you know, capture that so that I can continue to do videos, but without the actual cash stuffing and stuff like that. So I did come up with something, and it's going to be a separate video. With my next paycheck, I'm going to take you from beginning to end, exactly how I do this new system for me. And in terms of saving, what I have done is I have allocated a certain amount of savings that's direct deposited to Ally. And everything goes in one bucket and goes to Ally and stays there. And for right now, okay, I have to do what works for me. For right now, what's in that account is my emergency fund, my sinking funds, all of that, all in one. I'm not separating it out at this point. That's too frustrating for me. And when I was trying to save in cash and have all those different envelopes, it almost like it was not motivating, because, and I wasn't progressing, because for me, if I had $300 to save from that paycheck, right, and I got 10 sinking funds, and so, you know, I'm just using numbers, but so I put $30 in each envelope, right? For me, for somebody who is like struggling financially, who's got kids depending on them, you know, stuff like that. Oh my goodness. It was easy, okay? And I'm being honest here. It was very easy for me to look at those envelopes, and I didn't see them as $300. I saw them as $30. And so it was easy for me to say, well, it's just $30. I'm going to just take this out and start over next time, because I got it split up in envelopes. And so it doesn't look like as much as it is. Does that make sense? However, if I send $300 to Ally and it's gaining interest, then that is encouraging to me, because I see the whole number. You know what I'm saying? And then I can just use it for whatever emergency, hopefully. You know, but as things come up, and honestly, I never had a whole lot of sinking funds because a lot of the things that I have going on, I could really cash flow them because of my situation. So I never really had a lot of sinking funds anyway. So this is just what works for me, right? So I'm going to show you guys the whole process, but I wanted to, you see this video is already 20 minutes long, but I wanted to explain what's going on before I actually do another budget. And you guys are looking like, what the heck is she doing, right? So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to be more consistent, but my budget is boring, so I may start to, you know, kind of talk to you guys a little bit more because I have a lot to say. You know, I've been following DoorDash, you know, the whole craze, and she's just like, you know, unorthodox YouTube. Like everything everybody ever told you about YouTube, she's doing the opposite almost. You know what I'm saying? When I first started my YouTube channel, it was like, find a niche. You gotta have a niche or you're not gonna grow, and you know, this, that, and the third. And DoorDash get on there and say, just get on there and just talk. You got a lot to say. You got stuff that people want to hear. Get on there every single day and just talk about whatever you want to talk about. And I'm like, I've been wanting to do that for the longest. I always felt like my budget videos were boring because I'm salaried, so it's always the same. I don't have any variable type expenses, you know, so it was like kind of monotonous, and it would make me feel like I didn't even want to share it. And of course, because of the situation I was having where I was like feeling like I was going to get money out the bank to stuff it in some envelopes and take it right back out, it made no sense to me. So it made me feel like I didn't have a video to share. So I've changed it up. I'm gonna see if it works, but I'm also gonna incorporate some other stuff. I don't want to just be a budgeting channel. I want to share my life, and budgeting is a part of that. But there's also a multitude of other topics that have to do with my life that I want to share. So if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Turn on your notification bell so that you'll be notified when I upload all these videos, okay? Thank you guys so much. If you've already subscribed, I do have memberships, but I don't think I turned it on yet, but I'm gonna get to that eventually. So you guys, as always, I wish you peace, love, and prosperity. Bye for now, guys.